So we are at Airwater 2025 in Costa Mesa, California. Airwater is a all-inclusive Porsche Mania Day. We like to tell stories, whether it's vintage, racing, street, modern, just a lot of enthusiasm today. I got my first Porsche Classic in 2013 and was driving around looking for people to talk to and share stories and learn. And I thought, why not start a car show at a setting that was aesthetically pleasing a little later in the day, add some tacos and beers and families, and so it was. Luftgekühlt 1 was launched, and we've just been riding a wave and trying to keep up with it since.
Hi, you're at the Airwater event in Costa Mesa at Orange County Fairgrounds. It's our third event that we've done featuring kind of an all-inclusive Porsche event, starting with the earliest air-cooled cars to the latest water-cooled cars and a few electric cars too. We have, an SCRS that ran in the Middle Eastern Rally Championship. We've got the Otis Chandler 935 out here. We've got the Bobby Aiken Coca-Cola car. It's just pockets of storytelling all through. We got a 906 out in the barn out there. And yeah, our Halo show is really Luftgekühlt, and that was a highly visual show, but it only featured the air-cooled cars, which was 1999 and earlier, so slightly less curated. But I'm a visual person. I've spent my life in filmmaking, and I always want to create great shots if I can. So, the idea is you go around here, you're just going to find moments that the cars are either grouped together in a unique way, or the backdrops start to play into the cars. And we've kind of got a different feeling in each room here.
My name is Betim Berisha. I'm from BBI Autosport. Right here in sunny Southern California. We're in the Optima booth right now, kind of celebrating all things Porsche. Luckily, the skies opened up, it got sunny, and we were able to unveil two of our cars, part of a bigger project that we're doing at Pikes Peak this year. We have a 5-car team there this year, which is a little bit mental, but we ended up bringing two of the cars out here. One's a 993, which is a twin turbo 993 that we're gonna have Jeff Zwart drive. The other one is a brand new 992 GT3 that will be a twin turbo monster that Lonnie Unser's gonna be driving. The other one's Amelia Hartford in a GT4 Porsche. Another one's David Donahue in a 991 turbo that's built up like an GT3R race car. And then we have Stephen Waterow in a Aston Martin GT4 Evo coming over it's actually in the air right now. So we're getting ready because Pikes is in the end of June and it's crunch time right now. So Jeff Zwart's driving our 993, and we call it the prototype because the underpinnings of it are very, very similar to the 992. We've lengthened the wheelbase 2.5 inches. We've lowered the engine and moved it forward, getting a little bit more of that front weight bias there. And it's got an air-cooled twin turbo 3.8 liter that we built at the shop. Why that car? I love 993s. I started working in a shop sweeping floors with, and the 993s were just coming out. Always been madly in love with those. I've gotten to drive the Hunapig, test drive all of our hill climb cars, all the street cars, everything that Porsche's put out there. And it's kind of a culmination of all of that. And we've built it into a race car so we can test it heavily. We can take it to Pikes Peak, we do endurance racing with it because it's a test mule. And the test mule is for a bigger picture where we're gonna build 50 of these cars that are gonna be street legal race cars. It's gonna be leather trimmed, carbon, all of that. But this is the mechanical and drivetrain study right now. So that's this, and then we're putting Jeff through the paces with the car. He's been testing a lot lately. He ran it up at Pikes last year, had an unfortunate off, but we're back. So we have 2 cars in open class, 2 cars in GT4, and 1 in Time Attack 1. So I don't know why we're doing this, but we're doing it.
I love Pikes Peak. I went there first in 1989. I've then moved on to a program with Porsche in 1994. Came out of the box and had a class win, and I was hooked. Not only racing at Pikes Peak, but being part of the Porsche motorsport side of things and taking the latest, greatest from Porsche running there. This year, we have a really unique program. I found these guys, BBI Betim Berisha, who's kind of a mad scientist and creating a lot of, horsepower out of 911s. And it just was a perfect connection to take the place I love, Pikes Peak, and go up there with mega horsepower in a Porsche. And we did that first in 2013, and eventually in 2015 we won with one of his creations that he did in a cup car. And this year he's got a really unique program with a 993 Evo, which was the last of the air-cooled cars, but full GT3 cup car running gear. Everything underneath it is suspension, chassis, everything on it is modern stuff based on the old style air-cooled cars. So most of my success was at the end of the air-cooled era, and so then to combine that with mega horsepower, really incredible suspension dynamics, and go run it up my favorite mountain, it's going to be a good year.
This is my first time here, so I've only heard about it. I've only seen it on Instagram. I've always been told about it by my car community friends, but now I get to check it out for myself, so it's fun. First thing I think about is the wing, on this one. But they were saying because the air's thin there, so obviously it needs to get some drag and stuff like that. But I've always been curious about Pikes Peak. I always want to go. However, driving these things seems like that's the real challenge in my mind. Like, how do you control these beasts? I've done my fair share of track days, and I consider myself an enthusiast. I love going on drives. I play in the NFL now, so I know what's required to be at the top of your game and like how much focus and energy and effort it takes to do that. So I don't know if I'm quite here. The competitor in me, the wild boy in me is definitely interested.
What Pikes Peak means to me, it's wild. I don't know how it got its hooks in me. Jeff took me there for the first time in 2013, and I've kind of been infected with it. It's one of those things that if I'm thinking about cars, I'm thinking about Pikes daily. What we've learned, because it's a steep learning curve there. It humbles you. I've been to Le Mans a few times. I did 8 Daytonas, 8 as a crew guy, 8 Sebrings. So I've been in the endurance racing world and sports car racing world for a while, but there's something very, very special about putting machinery like this with a backdrop of a mountain. My goal at Pikes Peak is to get 5 cars to the top of the mountain. We have an amazing team. I think one of the best teams we've ever had. Drivers, team, crew, partners, Mobile One, Optima, Racer. I think we're going to go as prepared as we can, and we'll see what happens.
Luftgekühlt 11 will be in Durham, North Carolina, October 4th. I'm personally thrilled to finally get to the proper east side of the country. These were born and bred in Southern California, and most of our shows and events take place on the West Coast. So getting over to the East Coast is a big ambition of ours as a team, and it's finally coming to fruition. We've been to Indianapolis, we've been abroad to Europe, but the East Coast has been knocking on the door for a while, and we're finally going to make that happen. I think these events are about celebrating the legends and the history, but also introducing new product and meeting new audiences and new fans of the brand. Porsche is such an aspirational brand, whether that's owning your first Porsche as a daily driver or traveling to Le Mans or Daytona to see them race twice around the clock. It's a very inclusive family environment. If you look at the DNA and the roots of the brand, it's all about family, engineering, and design. The enthusiasm is there with the brand, and we just create a setting and try to rethink a car show.